Welcome back, everybody. My name is Isaac Rhythm Arredondo,
And I am Devin the Doc O'Connor.
and we have some exciting ESC League of Legends gameplay to get to. Today we have round 3 with Miami University Redhawks against the Eastern Michigan University Eagles.
Yeah, it should be a really great series. I'm looking forward to some of these matchups. I really, in particular, am excited to see and excited just to cast Lord Bonk Bonk again.
Oh,
I just love the name. It's just such
yeah.
a delight to say because I myself pride my casting skills, but a big part of it is just the fun usernames
Yeah.
that I get to encounter along the way.
And we have a
Because
lot of fun names in
yeah,
today's game.
we sure do.
For Miami side, we have Final Boss of Ohio. This is going from top to support. We have Final
Yeah.
Boss of Ohio in the top lane, HBTX in our jungle, Quagger in the mid lane, Lord Bonk Bonk as the AD carry, and Beans as the support.
So yeah, some familiar names that you recognize if you tuned in last week. We had a really great game. It was a quick 2-0, but it was still
Yeah.
very entertaining. We had a lot of different play styles, but we had some consistent things come up now and again. So I'm looking forward to seeing some more exciting action from the side of Miami.
Yeah, and then for Eastern Michigan side, we have Zero in the top lane, Makinami in the jungle, Lance Romance in the mid lane. Love that name.
Mm.
Waffle Pig as the AD carry, and Drywall Boxer as the support.
Which I just to add is probably the greatest name I think I've ever encountered. Like Drywall Boxer it just sums up exactly the solo duo experience that 99% of players are encountering when
Mm-hmm.
they queue up. So I'm really excited that he was able, or he or she, whoever the player
Yep.
is, was able to encapsulate that feeling that is just it's overtakes you when
Yeah.
you just like, wow, I just 30 minutes of my life to lose LP.
Yeah.
And then you win the next game and you're still negative
Yeah.
because your MMR sucks. Am I just speaking for myself?
I
No, I
think it
feel
might
like,
be.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I'm
Yeah.
just like reflecting. But, this should be a very exciting
Mm-hmm.
series. I'm hoping that we get a really close matchup. I really like the games that, go the distance, that,
Yeah.
allow me to do my job
Mm-hmm.
here and cast. And I'm excited to be doing it with you. So this should be pretty great.
Yeah, a couple of changes between the league format, or not the league format, but the game itself before we go in today, is that Mel, the newest champion to League of Legends, is legal today.
And by legal, we should say illegal because that is not balanced. It
That
is.
champion is absolutely disgusting, absolutely broken. Played against it earlier today, did not enjoy it. I don't want to see it today.
I had a Mel in my game that she did nothing but roam, had no
Yep.
CS, and still carried the entire game. Like
It's,
played so unconventionally wrong
yeah.
that by all metrics, like even on Riot's new busted champion standards, should probably not be very useful, but still did more damage than like 90% of my team.
Yep.
So this champion has so much utility. The reflectability, if any of you
Oh
have
my
seen
gosh.
that, is just something that we have never seen before in any kind of metric in league. I mean, we have deflections with
Yep.
Yasuo's wind wall,
Yep.
Samira's E,
You have spell shields
or yeah,
too that just negate the ability
yeah,
completely.
Samira W, and then we have the Morgana E, but no, nothing that sends it back and really keeps all the same traits. So, like for example, an any Q, any ability that's a projectile, you could send it back and it would stun.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nasty. I think like Renata,
Yeah.
blocking those hostile takeovers. It is really something that you have to watch out for. So we'll see if it gets banned today. I wouldn't be surprised if it's taken off the board just because of how
Right.
new it is and how people aren't necessarily used to playing up into the matchup. And there's still Riot is still trying to tune her numbers. There was a hot fix that was out to make her
Mm-hmm.
a little bit weaker because normally when there's a new champion released, they hover around like a 30 some win rate. But this um, Mel on release was around 50, which is crazy because normally people don't really know how to pilot the champion,
Right.
so it's not super successful in solo queue.
Yeah. But hopefully we don't have to see that today
Oh,
because disgusting champion, absolutely broken. But I think we're gonna get this game to you soon, right after this break. Don't go anywhere. Round 3, ESC League of Legends will be right here, right after this.
We're back
We're back
in
here.
Noxus. Whoa, who put me here, dude? It's really scary. I'm not cut out for this. I'm more of like a Ionia type of guy.
I was always a fan of the Shadow Isles.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
That's worse.
Callista, Hecarim,
Everyone's
love it
dead.
there. It's awesome. I miss our Demacia setup though.
Oh,
It
you
was
know, yeah,
pretty
no,
cool.
it's very noble. Lots of Petricite
Yeah,
around. If anyone's played like the Silas game on Steam,
I don't know
they
about
gave a
that.
good picture. I forget what it was called.
Is that the one where you're like escaping from the prison?
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
similar in like gameplay. It's like a roguelike, I think. It's
yeah.
like kind of like Hades.
I haven't played Hades.
Hades is, I don't know, similar. I had a friend who played it and really enjoyed it. So I mean, I'm sad Riot actually shut down that part of their
Oh, did
department.
they
Yeah,
really?
that was making games,
That's
which was
crazy.
unfortunate. But no, I mean, yeah, we talked about it last week. We got the new Noxus update, so we have all this like kind of battle scenery going on. We got like you said, new towers that
Mm-hmm.
I really like the look of. I think it's just nice. Like I didn't really like when they did the arcane patch. Like it was different, but it wasn't necessarily better.
Yeah.
I think they really took their time creating these tower designs, which
What I
I
really miss
yeah.
is like when they did the events, like the battle boss skins when those came
Oh yeah,
out, and you
that
had
was
like the
actually a
pixel
good
minions,
map. Yeah.
the winter maps with the
Hmm.
snow on them.
Nope, we can't
Oh,
have that anymore.
it's
Now the only way you can get a winter map is if you get a pentakill
yeah.
on Winter Blessed Diana,
I've
and
been
that's
playing
it.
this game for so long though, so I remember it's coming up on almost 10 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. Still bronze. It's pretty
That's why
upsetting.
he's the goat.
It's pretty upsetting.
That's why he's the goat. All right. Well, I mean, we're still waiting on draft here, but
Hmm.
I mean, any particular champs that you have in mind that you're expecting to either see banned,
Yeah.
picked?
Well, so I was looking over Eastern Michigan's roster the other day, and I saw that their top laner Zero is an 80 carry main.
Oh.
So they just have him flexed up to the top lane, but they have him playing a lot of tank roles. So I
Mm.
saw against whoever they played last week, Ball State.
Oh,
They
tough
had
opponent, by the way.
yeah.
Tough opponent.
First game they had Zero playing Cho'Gath. Second game they had Maokai.
Mhm.
So hopefully, final boss of Ohio on his carry split lane, split pushing champions. Hopefully he can do some crazy work up there. But their bot lane Ezreal, everybody's playing Ezreal right now.
Yeah, oh, it's just the fad.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be picked up 100% or banned out, one of the two.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think there's certain picks that can certainly define series. I think weak side picks are
Yeah.
definitely in the meta right now. So we'll see what they decide to do. Obviously, because Zero seems to be opting for stuff like that in the top lane anyway.
Hmm.
So we'll see if Final Boss of Ohio can take advantage of something like that with maybe a pick that's a bit more aggressive. But we'll
Yeah.
see very soon here. We're still waiting on draft. It shouldn't be much longer. We'll be right back.
And welcome back, everyone. We should have draft here coming in shortly, and we are
Yeah.
very excited to see what these two teams are scheming and putting together today.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a bit, but really, I think there is going to be some picks that are going to be, given more thought. I'm imagining, let's see, well, it is going to depend on who's red or blue side
Yeah.
because there is a lot of like very OP picks that we said that might
Hmm.
define the series. So that will definitely change things up because it also shifts band priority,
Yeah.
like things like the Mel. Oh, and we are
And
in
here we
here.
go. Yeah.
Here we are, and we do see Blitzcranks and an Ash first pick. Okay, interesting. Ash is a champion that has fallen a bit out of the meta, still very high in utility, but not really picked that much in high level games. Karth is going to be locked in for, I'm assuming,
HBTX.
HBTX,
Yep.
looking fantastic on that pick from last game.
We do see the Shaco banned out. That was a targeted ban towards HBTX. We know he's an absolute monster. However, he did have over 70% kill participation on the Karthus
Yeah.
in just their last game against Toledo. We also see the Imbessive banned out from for Final Boss of Ohio. We know that that's a really good pick into these tanks that Zero likes to play, so they're playing it safe in the top lane right now.
Yeah, and then we do see Leona locked in for Beans, an amazing pick for her. Gives her a lot of pressure on the map to be able to impact these team fights, roam up, and really just be a nuisance for a lot of these
Yeah.
players on Eastern Michigan.
Viego getting locked in for, I would assume, Nakinami. Oh my gosh, hard
Nakinami,
name to
yeah,
say. Yeah.
it's hard to say because we had to like,
Google
yeah,
Translate. Google
you
Translate was
Google
the play for us
translated it,
today.
yeah. Heimerdinger being hovered there, that's a cheeky hover. That is an Elise, and I imagine that's Elise going support.
That's an
That's something we've been
interesting.
seeing a lot in Korea specifically,
Hmm.
because Elise, with a skilled operator or skilled player on the keyboard, can allow it a lot of utility for dives just because of the ability of her repel to get rid of turret aggro, and it pairs pretty well with things like Caitlyn. That's usually who you'll see it with, just because it is really, you can have the same kind of thing. It's like a Lux
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you have like the stun, you have a bit of poke damage, and usually you start something like the gathering or no, what is the uh it's the item that's like a staff and it causes an explosion, the AP item.
Is that Cripplum? I have no idea.
No, it's I don't
I
know.
don't play AP. I'm an
Yeah.
80. I'm an
Me
80 man.
too.
It is the Ezreal being locked in for Lord Bonk Bonk, though. We saw Miami go 2-0 with the Ezreal Leona bot lane
Mhm.
just in our last match against Toledo. But I do want to note we're through the first ban phase, the first pick phase, and the second ban phase. No signs of Mel right now.
I don't think
She's
they know
still
that they
up.
can pick it. I honestly don't, because I
I
think
hope they
they
don't
might
know.
still be under the impression that they cannot lock that champion in, and they might. I'm 90% sure they can, but I
Hmm.
don't know. Maybe they're just uncomfortable giving such a new champion a try. Like I said,
Yeah.
it can be a bit, even on paper, if it looks strong, it's still a bit unnerving. Especially like there's some parts of Mel's kit that it does take a lot of practice, like the W. Just being mindful enough to be able to nail it in team fights and actually have it be useful and not just block like an auto or something
Right.
is definitely important. We do see the Karma locked in for Quager. It's a great utility pick, allows for a lot of flexibility because it gives you the shielding, it gives you poke damage. So it really is good and very strong in these team fights. And we do see the Eastern Michigan opting for the Maokai for the weak side
Yeah.
top lane.
I'm curious to see what Lance Romance will play because that's one, two, three, four, five, six mid lane bans total between both of these teams. A seventh one getting picked out for Quaggart. So Lance Romance, that's you're limited on the champions that you can pick here right
Yeah,
now.
Talia not bad. It's not a terrible hover. Cass is a bit more of an annoying pick, but
Yeah. Well, it is
really
going to be the
strong.
cast.
Did get nerfed recently, simply because actually it was because of the feats of strength, and the movement speed was very very strong on her that she would receive if you were to win the feats of strength. So she did get a tiny bit of a nerf last patch. But still a really strong pick, and that is Fiora going
Fiora.
to be locked in, trying to abuse this weak side Maokai and just get more of that damage in without having to worry about really the tanky stats that are going to be built up, and not allowing um, Zero to just sit under tower and become, a meatball.
Yeah, and
So
this
yeah,
Miami University draft is very reminiscent of what we saw in game 2 against Toledo. Very poke heavy with the Ezreal, with the Karma, with the Karthus.
yeah, consistent split push there up in the
Yeah.
top side for Final Boss of Ohio, a strong pick to be pretty self sufficient. But I will say, I think the I think the cast has a good amount of value here
Yep.
into the comp, especially into like Final Boss of Ohio, prevents him from queuing forward,
Yep.
um, prevents the arcane shift from the Ezreal. So it does definitely have some utility, but we'll see how well the mid laner of Eastern Michigan can utilize.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very important ability. It can define certain team fights. So we'll
Yeah.
see. And along with the petrifying gaze, can be quite lethal. So I really like the drafts from both teams. I like the elite support, and we'll see how they can pilot it coming up very soon.
Yeah. So we'll get that game to you right after this break. Don't go anywhere. And welcome to Summoner's Rift, everyone. First game between Miami University and Eastern Michigan University.
Yeah, we're having a couple more talks about this draft, and we do see an early
Kind of
vision pressure here.
invade look going on. Makinami in kind of a bad place. Final boss of Ohio is just going to go in there.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to try and get some damage on to Makinami here. Makinami going to be forced out, taken very low, almost taken down. Final boss of Ohio smells blood, but can't quite finish off the kill there. And going to get some vision and a lot of prio into this jungle. And let's see. Uh-oh, hold on. Is this
Lance
a fake check?
Romance just kind of slithering through there, but Miami's not going to act on it. Drywall Boxer just hanging out near the mid lane. But that's putting Makinami off to a really tough start. Maybe we'll see HBTX take their blue buff.
Yeah, an early reset there from Makinami, but nothing that's going to break the bank. It does allow Miami to get some pretty good wards down into the jungle of Eastern Michigan, but it isn't anything too terrible. They weren't able to get the kill. And yeah, I mean they're not feeling too bad about that one. Q gonna go wide there from the Carmen. It looks like we are seeing a bit of a swap.
Yeah.
Quager going to be forced to 2v1 here in the mid lane. And we do see Lance Romance up there in the top lane into the 4. Not a terrible matchup. Lord Bonk Bonk gets some poke on this weak side Maokai.
I think Lord Bonk Bonk down in that bot lane is just going to be able to bully Zero out of this lane on that Maokai. But Quaker's in kind of a tough position with both Drywall Boxer and Waffle Pig just hanging around. The thing is, Quaker is in that long term going to get that experience lead over 2 laners that are sharing right now.
Yeah, and it's not too terrible. I mean it's a good play from Eastern Michigan just simply because the range of cast can kind of bully this Fiora in the early levels, and the the grounding from the W of the Cassiopeia is quite strong into Fiora's kit of the Q and go in to try and get as we see.
I also want to note that if you take a look at the mini-map in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, Drywall Boxer has been hanging out in that jungle, getting wards, getting vision, and looking out for HBTX.
And another thing you'll notice there, as Final Boss of Ohio is taken very low, another thing you'll notice, oh, we got some early aggression here. The Ashe laying down the autos on Quaker, but he's going to be able to kite back, taking some damage, and no minions, or as I was going to say earlier, Zero is having a really tough time getting farm here, but Lord Bonk Bonk going to take some arcane shifts into the tower and is going to take some damage there. Nothing too terrible, and Zero does have quite a lot of sustain. It is very hard to set up a play on the Maokai super early. HBTX going to invade here and look for the red.
It looks like they're setting up for a 3-man dive onto Final Boss of Ohio underneath this top turret. We do know that this Elise is good at diving. If she can pick up the turret aggro first off and then repel out of there, this could mean really bad news for Miami University and especially for Final Boss of Ohio.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for the dive here. Let's see if they're successful. It looks like it would be pretty easy. They have the ground. There's not much counterplay, and they are going to be taken down in the repel, like you said. And let's see if Miami can get something back in the bottom side of the map here in response. It's going to be really tough to dive this Maokai, like I said. But let's see if Beans can take the aggro here. Good start. The root going down. Zero's still alive. Beans tanking tower. And they are going to get it. And the kill goes on HBTX. A good response there from Miami. Good turret aggro, juggling to be able to secure that kill. And now
looks like Makinami is just going to stay in that top side of the jungle as we have a little bit of a fight breaking out in the mid lane. Quaker getting stunned up and is going to flash out of there. Waffle Pig following up, but it is going to be taken down by the turret. A kill for Quagert.
Yeah, great by Quagert to be able to trade that back. And a use of sums by both of the laners there, but we will see that Quaker does have the TP to return back to lane, not losing too much off of that trade, and does get the trade and barrier from Waffle Pig.
Now do remember, we do have feats of strength nowadays, and one of the 3 that you can get is being the first team getting to 3 kills. Both of them are at 2 kills right now, so we'll see if they're going to go for a little hyper aggro, trying to get that 3rd one first, or if they're just going to play safe, try to get towers before.
Yeah, because it is pretty consequential. You want to deny the feats of strength, even though it did get nerfed last patch. Deny it from the Cassiopeia, but she does quite benefit from a flat movement speed increase, which is a really strong stat in the game if you didn't know. So yeah, definitely want to try and avoid giving that over. Waffle Pig getting more autos down onto Quagert, and it looks like there's a roam here onto Final Boss of Ohio. Will it amount to anything is the question. A lot of poke down, but you know, he's not in any kill threat. Quagert trying to get a root down there. He does. Trading some autos back is Waffle Pig. And Lord Bonk Bonk sitting pretty down here. Beans roaming down. A lot of damage taken. Let's see what Zero decides to do. He's kiting forward, but Beans is in the area. This could be the feats of strength that Miami's been looking for. A lot of damage, stunned up, and they will claim the feat of warfare. Well played by Miami, and a little bit of an overextension from Zero. But rotating up again to try and execute another dive on Final Boss of Ohio. Eastern Michigan looking to be sneaky. They have the Elise. They have all the tools. Could it just be a repeat from level 1? A flash going down, a great riposte, but the layering of ults is just too good, and the dropping of the turret aggro from the Elise, we're seeing the value, like I mentioned in draft. It is really strong pick for doing these types of incessant dives.
Yeah.
You know, it's so safe.
And sorry, they are not letting Final Boss of Ohio do anything in this game. They know what can happen if he gets ahead, so they know that they have to shut him down right from the start. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
That Elise is up there 24/7, 48, whatever, just being there all the time, not letting Final Boss of Ohio have a break. And that's
Yeah.
really putting him on the back foot.
And Viego, very accelerated with these 2 kills. And, you know, it's good to have a strong Viego in the early game. But it just depends. I think getting that objective is pretty good for Miami. That does contribute to the feats of strength. And there was no immediate trade back. But there is the grubs there on the map. And I think, I think Miami got those
Miami,
as well.
yes.
Yeah.
Miami, well, no. So Miami got the Drake, the Chemtech Drake. In Eastern Michigan, the Viego got the Void Grubs. So we're
Okay.
1-1 right now on Epic Jungle Monsters.
I see. I see.
A little bit of a skirmish breaking out here in the top lane. Lance Romance just throwing out some of those poisons out at Final Boss of Ohio. He's kind of in a tough position. But, I mean, you can already see that this Ezreal is building up a lead. 58 CS towards the Maokai 32. It's a little bit of confusing on the scoreboard since all of the lane swap shenanigans.
I think it's reversed as well. Miami is on the wrong side on our overlay here. So just ignore that and pretend Eastern Michigan is Miami. It's simply that easy.
Now, I do have another fun fact for you. Miami University, we are the Red Hawks. Eastern Michigan, they are the Eagles. But both teams, their mascot, both named Swoop.
Yeah, we call this the Battle of the Birds instead of the Battle of the Bricks.
Unfortunately, we don't have any bird champions in this match. Quagadon and Nivea, oh, that would have been fun to see.
Oh, yeah, we do like that. Unfortunately, we got the karma. But we still like that. And it's almost a pattern at this point. Final Boss of Ohio might be the victim of another gank not catching a break.
I do want to note, though, that Drywall Boxer, from just roaming in the jungle, putting in some wards, and not being in lane, only at level 3. Meanwhile, Beans is at 5, but they are going to dive. The Requiem coming out from HBTX is going to get canceled, I think. It didn't do that much damage.
Yeah,
but
weird.
Another kill onto Final Boss of Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, and Elise is sacrificing a ton of levels in order to get these dives off, but it is putting Final Boss of Ohio incredibly far behind, simply because he cannot, if you notice, he started Cole. He's not getting any real stacks on that. You know, and I still imagine he'll find a way to be useful in the late game, but that is going to be first turret and a feats of strength claimed by Eastern Michigan. And, you know, Miami's trying to respond here in the bot side, getting this turret back. They do not have the grubs and the extra damage to get the turret as fast.
Yeah, so with those 3 kills on Eastern Michigan's side, they didn't get the first 3 kills. We got first 3 kills. Yes, but with that first turret, they are one step closer to taking the feats of strength. Each team is 1-1. The last one comes down to Epic Jungle Monsters. We are both 1-1, with Eastern Michigan having the Void Grubs and Miami having the Drake. But the first team to claim 3 Epic Jungle Monsters will claim those feats of strength, which gives their current boots a little bit of an upgrade, and a current little fight breaking out here as Drywall Boxer gets caught out by Lord Bonk Bonk and Beans. And they're going to be able to take Drywall Boxer down. Another kill for Lord Bonk Bonk.
And you could see just how squishy Drywall Boxer was because of the lack of levels and the lack of experience he's had this game. It really means that he's just kind of a sitting duck. If he's caught out of position, at least had nowhere to rappel down and was just kind of a sitting duck waiting to come back. And you know, most of the lanes, it's not too bad. I think Final Boss of Ohio are going to be thinking that he's very grateful that he is up against a tank now. A Mantra Q going to hit there onto Waffle. And like I said, normal lane states trying to be established again. Final Boss getting that empowered Q in.
But like I was saying, with those feats of strength, the first one to get 3 feats of strength gets a little bit of an upgrade to the boots that they are wearing, as well as the option to buy tier 3 boots down the line, which have a whole plethora of unique stats. I know the steel caps upgrade gives you a shield after taking damage. Swifties gives you a little bit more movement speed. But
yeah,
it's all going to come down to these Epic Jungle Monsters.
And I said this on the first cast. I do think the boots are strong, and Cass benefits without even having to buy boots, but she can't. Gonna go wide there is Beans on her engage, but she's still looking for the solar flare. Waffle going to be forced to flash. It's a big cooldown right before this fight, but we still got more action here. Viego looking for resets. HPTX going to be flashing back, but it's a good fight for Miami. Lord Bonk Bonk getting damage down. Waffle Pig with no flash, hiding back, and we do see the TP coming in from Romance. Lord Bonk Bonk getting the kill onto the Ashe, her having no summoners is a bit disastrous, but Lance Romance finding Beans here, and Lord Bonk Bonk going to be taken down, I imagine, by this Maokai. And there he goes. But we do see Quaker responding with the turret in the bot side, but overall, a pretty even fight from both teams. No objectives taken.
That was an absolute bloodbath in the mid lane. I think both teams came out even there. I think it was 2 for 2 or 3 for 3. A lot of flashes being used, but Quaker getting the turret on the bot lane and Final Boss of Ohio getting just some time to free farm and get some damage into that turret. That's going to help Final Boss of Ohio catch up in this game, but we do see Drywall Boxer, again, just being an annoying spider.
Yeah, he's there. He doesn't land the web onto Final Boss. Is going to be able to kite out here, but they are looking for the Grubs to try and further their progression on these feats of strength, and I think Miami's going to try and have to contest them. HBTX walking up, posturing, looking for a fight. Grubs are going to reset, and they don't have a ton of vision control, trying to clear out that ward there, and they do get their own control ward down in turn. So now Eastern Michigan will be walking to the dark, and it looks like they might be giving these Grubs. I mean, no, they will be fighting them, but Drywall taking a huge amount of damage, trying to walk in almost blind. The Requiem coming down and almost takes him out. He does have that untargetability, but they are going to turn their sights to the mid lane tower here to try and grab some platings. This could be dangerous, though. It is a choke point. Huge petrifying gaze. And we do see the solar flare coming down. It is a ton of CC, but Miami trying to trade back, and they just can't. It was really tough. An amazing placement of the grounding of, I forget the name of it. And now Eastern Michigan to turn their sights onto this mid lane tower once again to grab more plates.
Now,
I don't like Miami taking that fight there, especially in that choke point.
It was very odd positioning to be in. All of Miami's players in the jungle on those Grubs, while Eastern Michigan was just sieging that tower. There was really no way to get into the side there and really have a good fight. You saw Cassiopeia with that petrifying gaze stunning up 2 members of Miami, and everybody else is just able to burst them down. However, Miami was able to come out of there with the Void Grubs, meaning that is 2 epic jungle monster slays that they have compared to Eastern's 1. So we do have a little bit of lead when it comes to those feats of strength. Hopefully with this Mountain Drake spawning up soon that we can take control of that and have that little boost in momentum for Miami University.
Yeah, and if Eastern Michigan gives this, that's just going to be feats of strength given over, and HBTX is trying to melt this down. Quaker helping him out. Bean's going to play bodyguard here, but Drywall River in the area getting some vision down, but it looks like it might just be too late. I don't think they're going to be in the area. And I believe that is feats of strength. Let's see.
I believe so. I do want to talk about Lord Bonk Bonk for a second, too.
Is it not?
His...
Oh, it is. That is feats of
yes,
strength.
his feats of strength. But Lord Bonk Bonk has had some excellent positioning in this game. In those last couple of fights, he's using his shifting to get into all the right positions.
And Quaker blown up, but he's still okay. Has the extra durability from the shield. Waffle Pig still sieging this bot side. Zero trying to stop Final Boss of Ohio from getting anything done in this top side. Doing really good to be just kind of a nuisance. Has a really good engage tool and a go button for the side of Eastern Michigan with that ultimate ability. And Final Boss of Ohio actually losing this trade. Gonna try and hit some of those weak points.
You know, I really feel for Final Boss of Ohio here because I know all too well what it's like
about
to be in that position.
Beans is getting the CC layering on top of her, and we're really seeing the value of this Cassiopeia pick. As we mentioned, the grounding ability is just so impactful, especially in these more compact areas of the map where you don't have a ton of maneuverability and you're just kind of stuck in there. Quaker trying to land the root. Big O, they're going a bit aggressive, trying to get this mid tower, and they will grab it. And Miami just a bit on the back foot, not really finding a great angle or any kind of picks to be able to equalize the game state. Goal difference isn't too crazy, but Final Boss of Ohio definitely being put behind, trying to finish off this Cole here.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's only a 2K gold lead. However, Eastern Michigan is up 3 turrets to 1. We're tied on Grubs, so we're not going to see a lot of those Voidlings coming out on the turrets. But I think Miami has been playing great around these jungle objectives. I mean, we have a Chemtech Drake, we have a Mountain Drake, and then I think we have another Mountain Drake coming up soon with the Chemtech Soul.
Yeah, and while I will say, I think Beans and Quaker will love the Soul. It's not really obviously ideal. I think Chemtank is the weakest of all the souls that you can possibly get, but it is better than nothing. And I mean, we are speaking as if, they already have it. They don't. They,
Yeah.
they need to work for it, and they need to be in a position where they can actually be able to contest without just getting wiped.
Yep, Rift
So,
Herald is on the map too, and
yeah.
I think if Miami can get that, it looks like Eastern
Yeah,
Michigan is going
they
to start
know.
that up. But that's going to be a huge boon in the favor for Eastern Michigan. That's going to get them hopefully 1 to 2 towers if they use it correctly, smartly. But we'll see what happens and what they want to do with that.
And it looks like the jungler of Eastern Michigan is pathing topside with that Rift Herald. Probably going to see if they can push the wave in and spawn it up there. Maybe get some action again on to Final Boss of Ohio. But HPTX is in the area, spots out Drywall Boxer. Going to be scared off a bit.
Eastern Michigan is just everywhere in Miami University's jungle. Anywhere you look, Drywall Boxer is right there. You go a little bit farther, Makinami's in there taking your camps. It's kind
Yeah.
of impossible for HBTX or Beans to really get a flank onto one of these members of Eastern Michigan.
No, HBTX going a bit aggressive there. The Cocoon going to miss, but the Ash ult, Channing Crystal Arrow down on the Karthus, but it isn't as terrible of an angle. Drywall Boxer taking incredibly well, but Viego is getting the resets. Bean's taken low as well. Solar Flare coming down, but it isn't. Is it enough? Let's see. Lord Bonk Bonk trying to get some damage as well. Final Boss of Ohio going for the kill, going to find it, and Eastern Michigan doing their best to try and get out of the area. Final Boss of Ohio chasing, but are they just going to be able to get out? Waffle Pig getting those slows down. Mantra Q going to land. Viego with the burst damage. Final Boss of Ohio flashing, taken down, and Romance just backing them up there when they need him. And it is a disastrous overextension from Miami, thinking they could get more of those kills from the weak members of Eastern Michigan, but they are going to be punished for it.
You can really see the value of this Cassiopeia coming out here. She flanked on the blind side, was able to lay down the poison, not letting Fiora get any of those movements. It's been really tough. I don't know if I like the chase on that fight too. They didn't have vision on one of the members.
I think you take that win. You kind of have to take what you get, and you can't overextend, because Viego, like we saw, just has the burst, has the CC necessary to kind of punish that Fiora with very little items. And it is just kind of unfortunate to see. And I think the big thing that you mentioned was, I think this cast has just been the crux of Eastern Michigan's comp, because it's so interesting to see at all points in the map, nearly every positive play that they've had, the dives on top side, the flanks, or the really I'm blanking on the name, the choke points of the map. Yeah, using those to get the maximum value for the Cassiopeia W, and then just having these really good petrifying gazes. It has really been what is causing Eastern Michigan to become so accelerated in this game. Other than that, I mean, the team fights were pretty even until the cast got involved.
It looks like there's a little setup here around the dragon. Both teams want it, and a little bit of a fight's going to break out.
Yeah, Leona going in deep. Great solar flare. Can Miami follow up? The True Shot Barrage going through as well. Let's see. Oh, Viego looking for resets. He does find one, but it is looking like a pretty good fight for Miami. Bean's still alive, and that is an amazing turnaround. HBTX managing to get huge amounts of damage. Bean's going to get taken down by the Viego copy of the Karthus, but still, Miami picking up a huge win in that team fight and getting themselves even closer. They're on Soul Point now, which is going to be quite helpful for them in these extended trades. And the tenacity will also help quite a bit into the slows that Cassiopeia is raining down, as well as Ash.
It does look like Voracious Otacon has spawned on the top side of the map. We'll see if Miami wants to play around that. But just for a moment, Makinami on that Viego, getting the kill onto HBTX as the Karthus. Makinami being able to copy the Karthus just in the middle of that fight.
Yeah.
He was laying waste to everybody on Miami, and the AoE damage was just chipping people down. I think if Makinami didn't get that kill onto HBTX or wasn't able to siphon his soul, things would have gotten a lot better.
It would have gone even better than it did. I mean, I think that's as good as Miami can possibly expect from a team fight at this point in the game. HBTX looking really strong, but like you said, the Viego can always copy those items. But look at this Drywall Boxer, sorry, getting a bit too close. But Final Boss of Ohio still in the push. It's not like Maokai can really match. Quager catching the wave here, doesn't want to go too ham, is going to take some damage up on that top side. Still sitting pretty.
Yeah, this game is really close too. We're a 1.2k gold lead on the side of Eastern Michigan.
I think a key point of that last team fight was also that Miami was not able to get. Oh, Enchanted Crystal going out on HBTX, the exact target that you'd want, but a lot of damage going down as well. But HBTX going to be taken over by the Viego. Still there. Beans taking a lot of damage from Waffle. And is that just going to be. Wow. That is a. Well, that's a two for
2 for
two.
2, yeah.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Final Boss of Ohio still here on the split push. We have a bit of a freeze on the replay, but we're back. Final Boss of Ohio, like I said, still getting this, but Otacon is going to be started from the side of Eastern Michigan, and that is a pretty great prize. I mean, he's getting that inner. Quaker going to try and contest it here. Waffle is taken quite low. Quaker can do some work. I think they're going to be pushed off of it. They don't have the manpower or the HP to be able to take this Otacon, and that is just a win for Miami. Getting that inner, Final Boss of Ohio getting a lot of value.
And that's a really great roam from Quaker to dissuade Eastern Michigan from taking that Otacon, because that is a huge buff for Eastern if they take it. I also want to note, Final Boss of Ohio, while everybody else was skirmishing, was able to take the bot side turret, the tier 2.
Yeah, the inner.
Yeah, that's a huge swing in momentum for Miami University. It doesn't matter who's fighting or where they're fighting. Final Boss of Ohio is just stuck in the lane, split pushing, and just putting permanent pressure on those side lanes.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's part of the value that we see. I mean, obviously, Fiora looked pretty terrible early game, but this is a pick that Final Boss of Ohio is very comfortable on. It's going to provide a lot of utility into the late game in these pushing lanes, but really, you just take too much time, you tunnel vision on an objective, and suddenly a Fiora's on your inhibitor, and you're losing a lot of pressure on your map just because you didn't respect the side lane pressure. And we do see Eastern Michigan still posturing here towards the top side near Otacon. It looks like they're not starting it up just yet. They're trying to wait, but they are going to start it here. But I don't know if I like the call.
I don't know if I like this angle for Miami University. Lord Bonk Bonk stuck in that Baron pit unless
he does have the arcane shift.
Yep.
Yeah, he can get over there. We do see the saplings coming down. Otacon's still a bit angry, but it's not going to turn into much. We do see the True Shot Barrage just seeing to make sure that they're not still on it. Otacon going to reset, looking a bit angry, but Miami turns their sights to this mid lane tower. Great recovery from them, looking a lot better. HBTX getting a lot stronger in these fights. And we'll have to see if, like you said, the Viego can maybe make use of that if he does fall in these fights, because a Karthus passive is great, but it's worse when that Karthus is also just turned against you.
Yeah, and as usual, Final Bosses of Ohio is down here on the bot side, putting pressure, forcing and shoving the lane, was taking jungle camps away from Makinami as well, and is able to avoid the ultimate from the Maokai and just walk out of there.
Yeah, and we see that Zero really isn't able to do much when he's one-on-one in this lane. He was kind of not in a great spot, and we do see Miami starting up the Otacon. Actually a pretty good angle. There's no ult on the Maokai. We saw him use it there in the bot side, probably called out by Final Boss of Ohio, and it looks like they're not really going to get contested. I mean, Eastern Michigan has very little idea that this is happening. They are going to grab the inner, and questionable positioning there from Final Boss of Ohio. He will go down just as they get the Voracious Otacon, so it won't necessarily matter that much. And Drywall is going to fall as well, so that is a trade and a positive for Miami, because as you know, when you kill someone with the Voracious Otacon buff, you only get 200 gold. You don't get the value of a full kill. It used to be even lower. It used to just be 100. And it looks like Eastern Michigan's going to try and turn this into the Soul, and if they can burst it down fast enough, or the Soul, denying the Soul from Miami, and it looks like they're going to be able to burst it down fast enough, which is good. The Otacon is going to definitely help it. Let's see if they can get out of there alive. It looks like that will be the case just because of the value that again, the Cassiopeia W has been crucial.
Now, like you mentioned, that was questionable positioning from Final Boss of Ohio, but it did look like Eastern was trying to just siege up, take that inhibitor turret in the mid lane. But Final Boss of Ohio getting there, they all turned and was able to stop them from doing that right as Miami got the Voracious Otacon. So they didn't really gain anything from that other than taking the soul rather away from Miami University.
But we will. I mean, I think I didn't see what happened. Obviously, I mean, I don't know how he ended up there. Final Boss of Ohio, and we might have a scuffle breakout. I don't. It makes me nervous when these scuffles break out in these choke points in the jungle, because it makes the Cassiopeia W that much harder to dodge and have more value. But it looks like Miami's just going to be taking this blue buff away. That's the global blue buff for Miami. They're going to really like that. They benefit a lot. They have a lot of merit, especially Karthus, like mana-hungry champions.
Yeah,
Ezreal.
Miami has played really well coming off of that back foot. They found a way to stay in this game, keep up with it, And as of right now, it seems like they're forcing fights when they want it, where they want it too. They're
Yeah.
having really great map play as Beans is going to go in on Drywall
But she
Boxer.
still has that GA buff, so it's important to note any fights that are taken are going to benefit Miami as long as Eastern Michigan can't swing this into another Baron. As long as it's not a full team wipe, I think, you know, the goal is to go aggressive here. Lord Bonk Bonk gets the memos, trying to get some damage down on Waffle Pig, and you know it does feel a little bit tough to just commit onto the Baron. Beans is just hunting here, and the Otacon buff will eventually run out. So let's see if Miami is going to try and pull a trigger of some sorts. Lord Bonk Bonk trying. It looks like he wants to do something, but really it's more of just a farm up, get in a good position, and just kind of make sure that we're sitting pretty.
Yeah, Miami seems to really want that Baron, especially trying to take it while the Otacon buff is up so that, well, it just went away too, I just saw.
Yeah.
But Eastern Michigan just being there, showing their presence, just not letting Miami University take that buff for free. They're going to have to go down and fight.
A Cocoon and Shannon Crystalera immediately cleanse. Great cleanse there. And Maokai ult coming through. But it is just a trade of ults, it seems like a Mystic Shot going to follow Eastern Michigan as they retreat through the mid lane. A lot of ults expended on both sides.
Things are getting really tense here. These fights are, you know, really quick, really fast. Somebody gets blown up and the entire team falls apart. This is really, really a tense situation to be in, and you really have to look for a good fight from Miami. They really need to put down some good vision, denying Drywall Boxer from flanking, denying Maokai from having some crazy ult flank as well. It's getting really tense over here.
Yeah, but I think Miami is in a pretty good spot. They off of that back of that play, since there was kind of a bit of an extension into the mid lane, trying to get a pick there on some of the members of Miami. They're able to respond back with the added power that they have on the map and get some deep vision in Eastern Michigan's bot side. But it seems like a lot of the action is in top side. Final boss of Ohio going deep on to 0, but another fight breaking out here. Topside Beans is just so tanky. And Final Boss Ohio not able to get the kill. His flash was expended. Unfortunate. But he does take Maokai quite low, but he does have that TP just to return if he needs to. Beans and the rest of the team starting the Baron as Final Boss of Ohio continues to march forward in this bot lane.
Yeah, Makinami's still here along with Drywall Boxer. I don't know if Miami's going to want to turn something on, like turn on them and try to get the kills instead of doing a Baron. It looks like their presence is going to be enough to dissuade Miami from taking that. But Final Boss of Ohio still putting some pressure onto that bot side, not letting Zero free push. I saw the Cassiopeia backed. I think she bought a new item. She has the Stasis now with the Zonia's Hourglass.
It's going to help her be a little bit more tanky in these team fights, just buy a little bit of time for her to get a lot of damage off. And we do see the Final Boss of Ohio going very aggro, trying to take out that Maokai, because if that was the case, then Miami could proceed on that Baron, feeling confident about their numbers, and Final Boss, someone would have to back to match him, and then Miami would have no trouble securing that Baron. And we do see the chem tag Drake will be coming up in around 40 seconds. Miami has to keep an eye on that because it still is sole point. We don't want Eastern Michigan to be able to deny that for a second time. Clearing out vision, trying to get a foothold to be able to contest this objective. Beans has to be careful, though. She is a Leona, so she's incredibly tanky, but that is 4 members of Eastern Michigan's squad perusing around this spot side jungle here.
Yeah, they don't want to force a fight that they're not going to win. But Final Boss of Ohio is not in the greatest positioning as Miami's going to start up that Baron.
He is kiting back towards his team, and he will find Drywall Boxer near the bushes there, and let's see if he can buy enough time for his team to take out this Baron. It's getting low. Final Boss of Ohio does do just that, and now he's going to be on the chase on these members of Eastern Michigan. They do get slowed down, but the Empowered Mantra crew will help them a bit. Lord Romance sitting here in the bot lane, just trying to push the wave in.
Yeah, and Miami's going to be able to come away with the Baron buff for that, so they have that for the next 6
minutes. But Lord Romance
minutes.
on the flank here, you got to keep that in mind. He's in a great spot to be able to do some work. Let's see, initial fight going in. Bean's still incredibly tanky, still alive, and Zero's going to get blown up there. HPTX under fire. Let's see if Lord Romance with the flanks, not able to do much. Bean's on top of him. Lord Bonk Bonk going aggressive. Lord Romance going to be spotted out here. He does have that Zanya's, but it looks like it will be a clean fight from Miami, only losing Beans in the process, and they will pick up Soul. The Empowered Baron buff will enable them to just have an amazing team fight, and what a call. Transition right back into the Drake, and a great fight.
What a call and what a fight. Even though that Eastern Michigan had the pincer with the Cassiopeia and the Maokai. Miami was able to turn that around. You saw that Lord Bonk Bonk was in there throwing mystic shots all over the place. You saw that he shifted onto, I believe it was Drywall Boxer, using Drywall Boxer's flash, taking the damage because once it's targeted on you and you flash, it still goes through. You can't avoid that. But wow, what a fight from Miami. Being able to get the ace, the dragon, the soul, and the baron all in one go.
Yeah.
This is a great swing in momentum for Miami University.
And the question mark for me is, I think Lord Romance or Lance Romance had a great flank opportunity, but it really didn't amount to much. Beans was able to get on top of him right before she perished there in that team fight, and it looked like they were able to deal with him pretty swiftly. The cast really not showing the same amount of impact that it was early game. Drywall up pretty far here, gonna repel. Final boss still chilling out in the jungle and really just trying to get some poke down, trying to push all these waves in. Final boss of Ohio alone in the top side does not matter. He is ready. And Lord Bonk Bonk, Arcane shifting forward. A Channel Crystal are going to go out and hit Beans. That is not the target you want to hit. True Shot Barrage going flu, Drywall. Oh, but we do see him. Oh, hold on, we got a Requiem coming down. There's so much stuff happening.
And that is a whole lot of damage going on to Drywall Boxer.
Yeah, HPTX has been so strong. He's been farming incredibly well. We do see Zero on the side, maybe looking for an ultimate, but really Miami's push is incredible right now. They have matched with the 3 grubs, and they do have that soul point. The Empowered Manchukuo going to come out, take some damage off of Romance, and they still have the Baron Empowered cannon, and they are going to try and take this top wave into the enemy's nexus, and really they're just trying to clean up this game. More waves are pushing in. Final boss of Ohio is going to be grounded there, but that's an important cooldown expended. Another Mantra Q going to be thrown out, and Miami are really just looking to put the nail in the coffin. Zero tossing out the ult. Final boss of Ohio, amazing parry, big round, but will it be enough? HBTX is dishing out huge amounts of damage. Waffle Pug getting autos down, but it just seems like it is all for naught as Miami picks up the huge win, and that will just be game.
That was a huge swing for Miami University, getting that Baron, getting that Dragon. That sealed Eastern Michigan's fate, especially in that fight around the Soul. Wow, what a game from Miami University, and what a win in this first game of our best-of-3 series against Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, and I was talking about wanting a close game, and dang, did we get one. Because
that
had me on the edge of my seat. I was really nervous, I'll be honest. Like, I was definitely, what I saw, maybe like the 5th dive in a row on Final Boss of Ohio, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, but no, I mean, I always had faith. You know, I always have faith in my superior bird team. You hear me? Superior
bird team.
So, you know, really just a tremendous display. All lanes in on Miami firing on all cylinders. I'm really impressed. Again, I mean, we said it a bit earlier, but like Final Boss of Ohio being able to recover from the game state that he was in, split push to win. That is the Fiora champion, and really making a mark for himself in the game. Having a bit of a couple goofy moments, but really ensuring that he put enough pressure on the map to allow his team to get a lot of these crucial objectives.
Yeah, there was some positioning issues with Final Boss of Ohio, but I think he played a fantastic game. Although he was getting permanent pressure from Drywall Boxer on that Elise, getting dove like 5 times in 10 minutes, he was resilient, and he pushed through, and near the end, he was the one getting all those towers in the bot lane, getting the towers in the top lane. Even though he got, set back a lot, he was able to keep himself in this game and was able to help Miami lead their way to victory.
Yeah, and I think we're beating it to death here, but I think he is really a really important part of why this game worked out, because I think that he was able to pick a champion that was able to punish a lot of what the vulnerability of Eastern Michigan is the fact that they have an off-role player in the top lane. So you want someone who's going to be able to take advantage of that. And they did. Eastern Michigan, to their credit, had an amazing lane swap at the beginning that was really effective at neutralizing a lot of the pressure that Final Boss of Ohio would have been able to put down, but still was incredibly versatile and resilient in the game. And I was really impressed. I mean, we see a lot of more of the same. Great positioning by Quaker, great use of his abilities, playing pretty safe, not giving over a lot. HBTX, more of the same, really just textbook farm to win and get super strong. And we did see Viego try to hijack that a little bit, but really, despite having a little bit of a rocky early game, Miami really pulling it together.
Yeah, it was a great comeback from Miami University. They had great epic jungle control, excuse me,
Yep.
and they played a great game. And that was a great start to this series. And
Yep.
I can't wait to see what the second game has in store for us. But we'll get that to you right after this break. Don't go anywhere. Round 3 of ESC League of Legends. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. That was a pretty electric game one. We're hoping we get a repeat. We are going to have a bit of a swap for
Yep.
Miami's roster. Mikey J will be coming in, similar to what we saw last week,
Yep.
or I guess this week. Time flies.
It does.
For Final Boss of Ohio, even though he was a very big part in their success in the last game, we think Mikey J's style will be. It'll be interesting to see
Hmm.
how he adapts, and we'll see if he decides to do something a bit different. So I'm curious to see. I mean, I think it's good. I really like Miami's strategy of, mix matching these players to see what is going to fit best. That's
Right.
obviously a tried and true strategy for any sport. So I think it's good to give everyone kind of some exposure to these types
Hmm.
of games, especially these closer games that are really a true test of a player's resilience and their skill.
I
So
agree. Yeah. So I was just thinking during the break of both teams' drafts, how they played it. But I want to ask you, what
mhm.
do you want to see Miami do differently going into this next game?
I think just when you have a lead, I think it's a big like, don't get too cocky. We saw
Right.
that a bit from Final Boss of
Hmm.
Ohio, but we saw it from a lot of the aspects of Miami's gameplay because they would tend to overcommit when they had a positive fight and they still weren't in a position where they could totally wipe.
Yeah.
Like, and then it caused them to overstep, get into a place where they didn't have a lot of vision, and then they were eventually just punished for it.
Hmm.
So I think if they clean up that part of their game and really fix a lot of the maybe the positioning of where they're taking these fights, be more mindful of that, I think it's going to be a lot cleaner.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, I think this Ezreal has been working tremendously for Miami,
Mhm.
especially on Lord Bonk Bonk.
Yeah.
I think if they can continue to get this Ezreal, it'll will keep reaping the benefits from that. And
Mhm.
I think the Karthus too for HBTX. I don't want to say it's better than Shaco, but he's been putting in
No,
work on
he's
that.
he's he's looking pretty nasty, so I'm excited. I mean, there's just so many threats for Eastern Michigan that they have to address in draft, and
Right.
it's just like one after another. And then when something you don't think is a threat is, it just pops up, and it's like, oh wow, I have to ban that too. So, um, definitely some notes to be had, but I think both teams looking really strong. I was impressed with Zero. I think definitely suffering a bit in the CS department, but had
Yeah.
some pretty good positioning, some good ults. Didn't look all too lost.
Yeah.
So I think could have been worse
I
from
mean,
the side of Eastern Michigan.
Zero being an AD carry player being forced to play top lane, I think he did a great job holding his own,
For
especially
sure.
against the 2v1 in that bot lane
Hmm.
against Beans and Lord Bonk Bonk.
Yeah,
I also want to take a moment to say Maki Nami in the jungle, he was
he's
kind of
doing
going
pretty good. I
crazy.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he just got outscaled,
Yeah.
but when the time when he was should have been strong, he was strong.
Yeah.
Like he did well. He had good pressure around the map, played well with the dives. I think one thing that we really mentioned, kind of in the break, was we liked the Elise a lot,
Yeah.
and we liked, it did its job in on paper, which is execute the dives, get a laner really far behind. But the big glaring issue that we saw was that it was very, very behind on XP and levels, and that sort of became a really big, noticeable problem in terms of squishiness, in terms of relevance in the overall game, because it's really hard to recoup a lot of that XP when you're playing support. You're
Yeah.
warding, so it's really important to be present in the laning phase, unless you're someone like Bard, where your champion is designed
Yep.
for a lot of these roams, because you really need to soak up as much XP as possible, because we saw earlier in that game there was times when he was level 3 and everyone else was like level 6. So looks like we're going to be hopping and draft very soon,
Hmm.
but I think I'm hoping that Eastern Michigan can address some of these discrepancies in the draft.
And here we are back in our draft. Shaco immediately being banned out by Eastern Michigan, taking that away from HBTX. We see that all happening to him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Shaco barely ever gets through. I've seen it.
Oh yeah, one time I think we saw it first game last against Toledo.
And we see the
Yeah,
Syndra again being banned towards the mid laner. I assume
Lance
yeah,
Romance.
Lance
Yeah,
Romance, the king. Karth is also being taken out. That's two jungle bans towards HBTX, and that is Ambessa as well going to be removed. It still says Final Boss of Ohio, so I think they might still be playing Eli, or yeah, Final Boss of Ohio. So I think he still might be playing. That is a Varus first pick. Good poke champion, great team fighting, and that is a Kha'Zix hover. White, pretty bold lock in without showing much else in the draft, especially because they do seem more keen on playing these tanky style champions. I do like that
I
a lot better. I think that's so safe,
yes.
and I think it's just shown to be quite effective. I would really like a Leona or an, yeah, that's good
Oh yep,
too.
we've seen that
Yeah,
before.
yeah, that's not bad at all. and gives a lot of agency on the map for HBTX. Similar, it's going to be less like power farmy, but it's going to be once he, he's hitting 6, he's just all over the place. You don't know where he's coming from.
Yeah, so Ezreal being locked in for Lord Bonk Bonk. We've seen him play this a ton. Great pick. He has a great mastery of this champion, and I really like to see that. HBTX getting that Evelyn. I think we've
Kino
seen him
Har.
play this in warm-ups last semester.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I
It
mean, he
wasn't
looked
bad,
really good
yeah.
on it. Yeah.
And so it fits his style a lot of wanting to gank, but Aurora and Wukong getting picked up for Eastern Michigan.
2 very strong picks right now. Wukong provides some additional engage to these teams when they don't necessarily have a ton of like those go buttons that we see for these team fights. I like the Karma being offered again. Synergizes very well with the Ezreal and kind of other things that Miami has going on. It's just generally a good utility pick that fits very well with Quaker's playstyle. But it is going to be the Galio locked in, a good pick into something like the Aurora. It's not too bad. It provides a lot of pressure on the map. And again, another really strong pick that we're seeing a lot right now.
Yeah, I like this Galio pickup a lot. Lord Bonk Bonk or if HBTX is in trouble, you can just heroic entrance right on top of there, stop everything, taunt everyone, and turn a fight around just
Yeah.
like that. Especially when you have Wukong, who's really trying to dive into that backline often, try to get some kills onto that Ezreal.
And the Nautilus is going to be
Yeah.
banned for the side of Eastern Michigan as well. And hopefully, like you said, the Galio maybe might cover up some of the positioning issues that
Yeah.
we were seeing, like maybe some of those getting caught off on the sideline. If Quakert is relatively in the general vicinity, maybe he can help turn that around because it was pretty close despite the numbers disadvantage.
Right, and I think if they do go for that Elise like they did last game, the Galio being able to match and help out with those tower dives is going to be great. But we see Olaf and Fiora being banned towards Final Boss of Ohio.
Yeah, so slimming down that top lane champion pool, I don't think it matters too much to him. He is quite versatile
Oh,
in
yeah.
the amount of champions that he can play. We've seen him pull out all kinds of things over the years. So, and that is a Lulu locked in to pair with the Varus. A bit unconventional if they're going lethality Varus, which is more often than not.
I think they're going to lean towards on hit on this one. I think
Yeah.
the last game I saw against Eastern Michigan when they were playing Ball State Waffle Pig did opt for on hit Varus.
And I like it. I actually prefer the on hit. It's a lot more fun to watch. I think it's a lot more skill expressive too. Isn't something you see a ton of, but it is something that's still cool. And that is going to be a Camille lock in. I love the Camille. It's one of Final Boss of Ohio's, if not his most signature picks.
Yes.
So I really do love to see that. It's very strong into the Cho'Gath, can match the scaling quite well. Gives similar side leading pressure that we see the Camille or see the Fiora. Honestly, I think it is just basically interchangeable. So, I mean, it still has that percent max health true damage. And if anything, I think Final Boss of Ohio is just as comfortable on it.
Now, I'm a bit nervous about this Cho'Gath because he only gets stronger as he builds those stacks as the game goes longer.
Yeah.
I see that we have an Evelyn who's a big AP assassin who, once the game gets a little bit too far, she's not going to be able to do a lot into that Cho'Gath. We also see Ezreal, whose Mystic shots, I mean, they do a ton
They're
of
not-
damage, but to
yeah.
a Cho'Gath, it's going to feel like swatting flies.
And that's going to be really where the Camille comes in because I think the big thing is Zero, like we said, is an off-roll player.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he had a lot of kill threat. And Cho'Gath, well, he does do a deceptively amount of damage. I feel like it's kind of, you need to be able to be a little bit comfortable with the champion. And I think he's still maybe probably learning a lot of this since he's an ADC main. So, and a big part of Cho'Gath too is you can only get a certain amount of stacks from the minions. And really what Zero was doing a lot wasn't necessarily fighting and getting position where he would be getting the feast on the champions.
Right.
And I could, pun intended, eat my words, but I really feel like Zero's kind of it seems like he has a passive playstyle.
Yes,
And
I would
Cho'Gath
completely
does
agree.
need to feast on either objectives or champions to really get a lot of that scaling and that ball rolling. So it is dependent because I do think Cho'Gath is a really good weak side pick, but you do need to have some agency in these fights.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that Final Boss of Ohio just needs to keep applying pressure with that true damage onto the Cho'Gath, and HBTX can't let this Wukong get control of the jungle.
For sure.
It's going to be a great game coming up. We're excited to cast it, and we'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Game 2 is coming right up.
Welcome back to ESC Action, the Rumble. We got another matchup here with Miami battling out Eastern Michigan.
I'm excited for this one. Coming off of that game one banger, I think it was a 30-minute game, really
Yeah.
tensious, but it looks like
Whoa, hold on. We got a bit of a switcheroo here. We have Miami moving into the jungle as well as I feel like they're going to sense this though, because it's like, wait, it's quiet.
Well,
Too
it's like
quiet.
ships passing in the night, both wanting to invade, but they're
Oh,
not going
hold
to see each
on.
other. Lance Roman's in a little bit of
Oh,
trouble.
no, he did see.
He did see them. He is, I think, just going to be able to walk out of that.
But he's on the wrong side of the map. I mean, he's going to probably try and get it back off, but I don't think Miami is going to chase in the event that Eastern Michigan would still be in the area just waiting for them. But they do kind of have that Spider-Man moment where they're like, "Who are you?"
Exactly, yeah.
Well, they're going to turn that into an invade of.
Oh, we have
Eastern Michigan's
another
bot side. Hold
run
on.
back here on the boss side. HBTX, the Zenith Blade going onto Drywall Boxer. They are going to get knocked up from that Cho'Gath, but I think they're just going to try to get out if possible. Drywall Boxer is just laying down some auto attacks onto Beans. Going to get low, but they're starting up the Raptors.
And that is a flash from Drywall Boxer, early expended, and I think Ignite as well. So not terrible for the side of Miami. Bean's going to be taken quite low and does have to go immediately into lane. So as long, I mean, it depends on Eastern Michigan can capitalize on that early damage, but not too terrible. I mean, they do have the summoner advantage. Drywall Reaver, the unconventional Ignite take from the Lulu, I really respect it, but we'll see what they can do. HPTX roaming over for an early gank.
Drywall Boxer also doesn't have flash, using an Ally. Zenith Blade going down onto Drywall Boxer. Ignite being down onto Beans. Ignite onto Drywall Boxer. Lord Bonk Bonk is going to be able to pick up the kill. Or they want more. They want more. HBTX going into Waffle Pig, and they're going to get him real low, but nothing coming out. One kill going onto Miami's side. One kill for Lord Bonk Bonk. That is a great way to start this game.
Yeah, and Waffle Pig can't really stick around. He has to kind of zone off of his wave, because if he sticks around too long, Leona level 2 is just lethal with these dives. So they got to be careful. And look at that. You can see on the minimap, he's just kind of being zoned off until his Lulu's back. And yeah, I mean, kind of an over. I mean, it didn't look like it was terrible, but really well played from Miami's bot side. Beans knowing her damage really well.
Yeah, and I also want to note that Makinami has opted or was able to invade the top side of HBTX's jungle. HBTX was able to take the bot side of Makinami's jungle, so we're not going to see a lot of vertical action. It's going to be a lot of horizontal jungling, but a little bit of poke from Lance Romance going onto Quagger. I know he's pretty tanky, so
yeah,
it's not going to
it'll hurt a
too
bit
much
initially, but I feel like this Galio is it's just so effective into their comp. Like it is, I mean, Cho'Gath has a lot of magic damage. Varus partly magic damage. I mean, it is really going to be super good, and it was something that was locked in quite early.
Hook shot going on to 0 is going to stun him up for a second, but you can already see that lead building up for Final Boss of Ohio. 25 CS against 17.
Yeah, I mean, and part of it is just knowledge of the laning. Like, it definitely is playable. Oh, hold on.
And here we go again, a fight in the bot lane. No flashes for Eastern Michigan. HBTX knows that, is going to flash in. Going to slow down Waffle Pig, and is going to be able to pick up the kill onto him. They're turning it onto Drywall Boxer. Zenith Blade going to stun him up, and another kill for Lord Bonk Bonk. 1 for HBTX, 1 for Lord Bonk Bonk, 3 for Miami University.
And that's the feat of warfare. That's claimed right there. I mean, we really didn't even have a chance for Eastern Michigan to respond with any kills of their own. And that is a really good progression into the feats of strength.
That is a fantastic start for Miami University. Getting your AD carry off to this great start, 24 CS to 9, stacking the tier already. He is really far ahead in this game. And if they can keep ganking on this Varus and Lulu with their flashes down, it's going to get HBTX gold, it's going to get Beans gold, it's going to get Ezreal gold.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing the opposite of last game in the sense that Lulu has just as much CS as the Varus and is not behind on XP because she's honestly spent more time than him in the lane.
Yeah.
So it's looking a little tough for Eastern Michigan's bot side, but you know they're troopers. They're putting it. They're gonna keep walking back. Final Boss of Ohio going for a little bit of a ride there on the spikes.
And here we go again. It's the same thing. HBTX knows the flashes are down. The Zenith Blade going on to Drywall Boxer. A lot of damage coming through. Lord Bonk Bonk is going to Mystic Shot, take down, get another kill, is going to escape. Beans trying to just peel for them a little bit. Teleport coming through. Lance Romance is in the action. No kill going to be able to get up onto Waffle Pig. It's a 1-for-1 for
It's
Eastern
another
Michigan.
TP, but the TP from Quaker is really late. It's kind of there to say hi. A little unfortunate there, kind of a waste if you ask me, but it's okay. You know, we did see Lance the Romance come down. Not entirely sure if that was super necessary, but I really did think it was a good response. To credit of Eastern Michigan's jungler, he was in the area for that fight, but it is another kill on the Ezreal, and trading Leona for that, it's not really a big deal. I mean, the feats of strength already given over. It's going to give Vars a little bit of respite back in this game, a little bit more gold than he was working with before, but really it's nothing to freak out over.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things of watching HBTX is the first back Dark Seal purchase.
Oh.
HBTX is looking for blood this game.
And we do see the bot lane roaming up top, trying to get some more work done on Final Boss of Ohio, because he kind of just had a lane kingdom up here. They're like, we can't have that happen. Zero here in the bot lane with the Galio. HBTX on these grubs already. Miami has a lot of prio, a lot of members in the area, and really not much that Eastern Michigan can do about it. Quaker getting damage on here.
Quaker is just not taking anything, but the Hextech ultimatum coming down onto Waffle Pig. 3 members of Miami are there. They are going to get the W onto him, but Final Boss of Ohio is getting low. Zenith Blade in onto Waffle Pig. Not a lot of damage to follow up. Both carries are kind of low. Beans forced to flash out. You have 3 members against 3. The Wukong is going to dive in. Isn't going to get anything. Mystic Shot's trying to just support a little bit of damage there, but nothing's going to come out of that.
Yeah, it's really tough because they were kind of hiding in the bushes, making it difficult for anyone besides the Wukong to really follow up. And the Mystic Shots were still coming down, so it isn't really going to amount to much. The Hextech ultimatum was good, but it just, they didn't have the damage. And when Beans went back in for the re-engage, there was no one really to follow up in the area.
Yeah, you saw Final Boss of Ohio getting really low there. I think one turret shot, he probably would have been gone.
No, he would have been toast.
Yeah, 1 Q from that Wukong, he would have been gone. So I think it was a good just to dissuade them from going in a little bit more. But, I mean, great backup from Lord Bonk Bonk, keeping Eastern Michigan from, a full frontal assault right there.
Yeah, raining down that poke. I mean, he's just getting stronger. He has the Sheen online now, 2 long swords. He's going to be really good. I mean, and if he had ult in that fight, if anyone had ult in that fight, it would have been a really big game changer. But
oh, absolutely.
I'm just seeing, the idea of Miami's comp is already starting to become pretty clear. And I think the Lulu is good, and it's good in these fights, but I'm just seeing this Leona come back time and time again and just be such an impactful part in these fights, just giving Miami the ability to go.
There's a little bit of action going here onto the bot side of the river near that Drake pit. HBTX is going to get slowed, getting chunked out, but is going to be able to walk away. Lord Bonk Bonk forcing something onto Zero. Beans is up there to support him, but not much going to come from that.
Yeah, Final Boss of Ohio once again in this position where he is like alone, flashing the Challenger emblem.
Ooh.
That's a bit of a flex, but he, we'll see what he can do. Maybe they can execute a dive on the top side. HBTX caught in a weird spot.
Oh, great ult to get out of there, saving from using any other resources that HBTX has.
Yeah, no, great to use that to get back over the wall and just gonna kind of get out scot-free. They are gonna have to drop the Drake because of that, but I don't think that's too terrible. I mean, it will prevent them from progressing a bit on these feats of strength, but it's not anything too crazy.
Eastern Michigan is having a lot of map movement in this game too. They swapped their lanes twice.
The dragon did reset there.
Everywhere. They're not going to be able to get the dragon, but they're moving their members all around the map, and Miami's being forced to match that.
A possible dive here coming in from the top onto Zero. Final Boss of Ohio going to be able to sneak out, it looks like, and let's see if they can get Zero here. Just a punch.
Going to be able to taunt him. HBTX is going to charm him up and going to get the kill. Another kill for HBTX, getting those Dark Seal stacks up.
Yeah, and crucially, Eastern Michigan was not able to lock down Final Boss of Ohio on the top side of the map, so that would be a pretty one-sided trade. They might be looking for something here, but I doubt it. They don't necessarily have the ability to dive.
Lulu! Hookshot onto Drywall Boxer is going to get polymorphed. Final Boss of Ohio wants that kill onto Drywall Boxer, but is more focused on keeping that tower up. Taking a couple autos from Waffle Pig right now.
Yeah,
isn't able to do much.
He's still, Camille has so much built-in sustain along with these shields, and that Q is going to go wide, so that a lot of the damage from the Vars, a lot of the lethality that he has, kill pressure is just not there. They are going to pick up that Ocean Dragon, but look at the turret in the top side. along with the grubs, I mean, this if they're able to get this pretty low, that could just be feats of strength right off the bat.
Yeah, like we said, they already had the 3 kills. They just need the first turret. Zero coming up to see if he can change anything about it. Gonna silence HBTX, but they're focusing down the tower. The Chomp isn't gonna get the execute onto HBTX, and they're not gonna want to chase for more.
And that's feats of strength claimed for Miami once again. And generally, the patterns that we are seeing is that the team who claims feats of strength usually does have quite a good chance at winning. Generally, that just goes with getting kills and early kills and getting objectives or towers. But, you know, it is just more of an indicator of how the game state is going. If you couldn't tell with the 1-5 scoreline, a lot of pings coming down, not entirely sure what they are pinging. But it is Quaker starting to become quite tanky. More grubs coming down, but it is Eastern Michigan trying to deny these 6 grubs for Miami. HBTX in the area, but it doesn't look like he is on time.
Yeah, Maki Nami showing great control of this jungle is going to, previously picked up that Ocean Dragon, is going to get all 3 grubs here. It's 4-2, so we will see the grubs, or the Voidlings rather, for Eastern Michigan right now.
Yeah, and a good TP there from Zero to stop the push from Final Boss of Ohio in the bot lane.
3 members of Eastern Michigan, Quaker, going to be able to just dash on out of there.
Yeah, and it's looking like pretty relaxed gameplay. I mean, Final Boss of Ohio is looking quite strong. Hook shot.
Hook shot going on to Zero, is going to stun him up for a second. Not much to follow up.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited for those. I think Zero's at the point now where he isn't just going to get one shot, so, you know, it's going to be a lot of, like, smacking.
I just love some Camille gameplay. It gets
cool.
me so
it's
excited.
Very fun.
It looks flashy.
It is. It's very stylish. That's the word I would use.
That is a great word to describe
We
it.
see Lulu lurking in the river here. Let's see. HBTX looking for an angle. Is invisible.
Is going to maybe charm Waffle Pig? We'll see. Mystic Barrage just going to whiff everywhere, but Beans is coming up too. Is going to get the charm onto Waffle Pig. The ult is going to come through. Zenith Blade hits. The Solar Flare missing. Lord Bonkwok is in there like Swindler. HBTX is going to ult out, get the kill on to Varus. The heroic entrance coming through, trying to save some of the members of Miami University. Lord Bonkwok, great position and getting another kill onto that Lulu.
And we immediately see the value of Quagert here in these fights. He's able to join so quickly and disrupt a lot of what Eastern Michigan was trying to accomplish, and now we just see Mr. Romance getting pushed off. That's not your direction, buddy. That's not your tower. You don't have anywhere to go.
Quaker just gonna,
take his time.
Just gonna take his time.
Play with his food.
Oh yeah, that is a tough spot for Lance Romance to be in, but a great kill going over to Quaker.
Yeah, and after all that, Miami really only giving away 1 kill on to, I don't remember if it was on Beans or someone else. Someone died. But really, picking up 3 in that exchange. Great ult there from Quaker. Great. I would imagine the comms are pretty good. Like, ult me, I'm in trouble. But, you know, no, really, we saw firsthand the value that this Gallia provides with the heroic entrance.
Yeah, and you can see we were talking about that on-hit Varus for Eastern Michigan, and the Ginsu's Rage Blade is going to be completed, so he is opting for that on-hit path. However, the Triforce for that Ezreal is going to be completed. That is a huge power spike.
That's a big item. It's a lot bigger than
spike.
Rage Blade, I'll tell you that. I mean, and as much as I do love, I was saying this in draft, I love the on-hit, it's just less effective into a lot of these tanks. Like it just, I mean, the lethality gives you more of that AD, which is going to be more, it felt more into this Galio, which is just, this guy is going to be a total raid boss. I can already tell. So Quager farming up here, just getting stronger towards the top side. Romance here also trying to be a nuisance, but look, I mean, like, where's the damage? Tell me where's the damage? That's a combo there. It's just nothing.
Quager already has 1 full item completed, giving him a whole bunch of MR. It's just not going to take a lot of damage. A little bit of action going here on the bot side, but Final Boss of Ohio is just going to hookshot out of there.
And Beans in the area. Maybe they're looking for something onto Zero. Again, they don't have a wave just quite yet, but she's hanging around looking for the angle. Hookshot going to be expanded there. But let's see. HBTX is also down here. They just need to get the wave pushed in, and maybe they have a way to do it. Quager a lot harder to dive towards the top side. Let's see. They're posturing for it. I mean, oh, hold on. Going into the realms.
Oh, there's a lot of action happening here on the map. The bot side died. They are going to trim up Zero. A lot of true damage coming down, but on the top side, they are going to root up that Galio and are going to be able to take the kill. But I think Miami is going to be able to take this bot side turret here.
Yeah, a good shutdown there. A great, well-executed dive. Or I guess it wasn't a dive. I just think that Quaker got a little bit overconfident. But at the same time, could be worse for Miami. They are going to give down shutdown gold to that Varus, which is not the best, but and it is a trade of outer turrets here. Um, but still, Miami remains firmly in control of
Yeah.
this game. They are going to pick up the Cloud Drake, prevent any stacking from the side of Eastern Michigan, and generally a pretty positive play. I mean, they're like I said, they're really denying this Cho'Gath the ability to be out on the map, get those stacks up. Any second that he spends dead, not out in farming a wave, he's just weaker and less relevant. Like you need to put this guy behind early and prevent him from getting those quick stacks because he just will use that to just become massive. And
Yeah,
really, we're not seeing it.
I agree. And I think Final Boss of Ohio feels a lot more at home and a lot more comfortable on this Camille as well. You can see he's kind of limit testing a little bit with that
Yeah, I mean,
Cho'Gath.
I wouldn't even say he's. I mean, yeah, he's obviously really comfortable. But he's like, it's more the fact that he wasn't dived 18 times.
Flash, Solar Flare going on to Drywall Boxer. Polymorph, there's a lot going on. Waffle Pig is going to get down low. Barrier coming out, is going to survive. True Shot Barrage coming from Lord Bong Funk. No kills, nothing happening there.
Final Boss of Ohio trying to get something here onto Romance, takes a tower shot. And the rest of Eastern Michigan is moving towards him. I hope he knows that, but I don't think he does.
Meanwhile, everybody else on Miami University is still here in that mid lane, threatening that mid outer tower.
It looks like HPTX does get spotted by that control ward, preventing any more moves towards Final Boss on the top side here. Looking okay, and does just have this constant pressure, trying to push the wave in. It looks like they're going here. They are going to be spotted on the Rift Herald, but I'm curious to see if Eastern Michigan opts to contest this. Lulu going up a little bit far.
Drywall Boxer getting a little eager there to say, for a lack of a better term. Hookshot going on in the Hextech Ultimatum onto Lance Romance, the heroic entrance, and you can't escape anywhere from that.
You saw Lance Romance just kind of accept their fate
Yeah.
there and just stop moving. It's like, oh, Hextech Ultimatum. And I forgot to mention this in draft because I'm not, it's been a while.
Yes, me too.
But the thing is, Galio Camille,
Oh, a little bit of action going on here, and they're just going to take down Maki Nami under the tower.
as I was saying, Camille Galio is such a tried and true historic combo in pro play. And you see why. It's just so easy to guarantee. Well, HBTX going to fall there and a
Yeah.
shutdown, but still could be worse. It's still such a, just a classic combo because you can guarantee the landing of the heroic engines using the Hextech Ultimatum, and it really is just kind of massive if you want to single down one target in particular.
Yes, for those of you at home who might not know, Camille's ultimate is that big hexagonal, like, I don't know how you would describe it, but a light color. And if you ult onto somebody, they cannot escape from those walls. With that, if you stack the Gallia ult, the heroic entrance, right on top of that, he comes in, and it's the same diameter as Camille's Hextech Ultimatum. So no matter what, you're getting knocked up if you're inside there.
That's true, and I mean it's really tough. I mean, because just generally, if you just ult on the Camille, you're always going to hit it, and you can't escape like by any means. There's no flashing, no nothing. So it really is just a guaranteed lockdown thing, and it gives Camille a little bit more damage while she's in it.
Zero getting a little eager here. Final Boss of Ohio is forced to hook shot out.
Yeah, he's got to be careful because Cho'Gath, despite being pretty behind, does have that built-in execute. He's going to use it there on the minion, and that makes me think he doesn't have all his minion stacks in yet. Wouldn't surprise me considering he's spent some of this game dead. HPTX in the area, a little ambitious. I don't think he has the damage to...
Didn't get the charm either onto Zero, but you also see that Zero is stacking MR, has the boots, has the first completed item, but Drywall Boxer hiding in a bush is going to polymorph the ultimate from Waffle Pig, but the Solar Flare coming down, stunning him up. HPTX isn't going to get out of there. The Ignite burns him down. Quaker teleporting in. Mystic Rush comes out, and they're on a front-back fight here. Quaker going in, taunting up 3 members of the team. Lord Bonkbonk in the back, throwing Mystic Shots down. Is going to dive in, but misses the Mystic Shot and is going to be taken down by Lance Romance. Bean is going to walk out the top there, and that is a big fight for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, we saw it again. Miami just getting too cocky with these fights, but hold on. Quaker might be looking for more.
Going in again, taunting up Zero. Final Boss of Ohio is with him. The hook shot going on to Zero. They are going to try to burst him down, but he is so tanky. They are forced to back out. Quaker trying to peel a little bit for Final Boss of Ohio and is going to die. However, Final Boss of Ohio flashes in there, is going to pick up a kill on Maki Nami, and isn't going to get the Hextech Ultimatum onto the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath chomps final boss of
I
Ohio.
need them to stop proving my point. Okay, like this is so greedy from Miami. Like it's such a terrible place to fight on the map. They have no vision, and we just see HBTX kind of walking through without a care in the world. And we can't have that kind of behavior, especially when you've accumulated this kind of lead, because you're giving shutdowns, you're giving gold, and then not to mention going back in and giving more over. I mean, it's not the end of the world here for Miami because they will still have firm control of this map and are going for the objective and should be able to secure it. But really just kind of sloppy gameplay there. You don't
Yeah.
want to be giving over those types of opportunities from Eastern Michigan. They were pretty firmly out of the game, like, and at least in a sense on the map. But, you know, you can't make misplays like that.
Quaker try to get a taunt there, but nothing there. Miami was able to secure that Hextech Dragon, even though they were spotted out. But it looks like things are forming around the mid lane here. We got the Rift Herald placed down, going to try to take out that outer tower.
Does get the charge down, but will be taken down before it can actually get any kind of demolition.
Eastern Michigan has a lot of vision in here. No matter where Miami is, they are going to see it. But final boss of Ohio, split pushing like usual.
This looks familiar.
Yeah, I've seen this one before.
Yeah, and it really is just a nuisance because any time you're spent posturing on this Onacon and not actually pulling the trigger, which Final Boss of Ohio has that unleashed DP, so he can be there at any point, you're just losing your inner tower. Like we see it right here. Zero can't do much. He just kind of has to watch. And then the Hextech ultimatum.
Final boss of Ohio is in there. Hookshot onto Zero, stunning him up. But Zero getting low is just going to walk out of that. Final boss of Ohio asserting dominance here and slicing through those towers like it's butter.
Yeah, and healing a lot with the Voracious Hydra. But hold on, Quaker.
Polymorph onto Quaker. He's taunting everybody. He got a 4-man taunt. Mystic Barrage coming through. Waffle Pig gets the ult from the Varus. But they just don't have the follow-up damage Miami does to get anything out of it.
Yeah, and it was really kind of a questionable play, especially there from HBTX. He just kind of walks in and dies. Miami doesn't, I mean, Lord Bonkbog's still up to deny, or to try and deny this Otacon, but can't get too cocky. He does have the Arcane Shift, but there is Romance coming to try and get a flank angle. Final Boss of Ohio in the area, though, does roam up.
Lord Bonk was fishing for a kill there. I don't know if you get it. And then Lance Romance from the top side is just going to be able to use the Hextech Gates and get out of there.
Yeah, and more similar of that sloppy play. I mean, it was just really Quaker going in way too early, no one being there to follow up immediately, and then just kind of being taken down one by one. I mean, HBTX just looked like he disconnected from the game. He was walking in there and just immediately got one shot. And again, you're allowing Eastern Michigan an opportunity to equalize the gold. They're still down around 2 point, yeah, like 2 point something K, yeah, two and change. But still, you're giving them an avenue to be back into this game. Let Final Boss of Ohio split push. Just make sure they're not doing the objective.
Hextech Ultimatum and the hookshot going on to Lance Romance, and slice and dice. Final boss gets another kill.
And he's saying, listen, this is what I look like when I am not ganked 800 times.
Yeah.
And really, he is lethal. He is lethal on this Camille, what is to be expected. But you need to let him breathe. It's top laner POV. You cannot take these terrible fights and just run into the enemy team gaining nothing while he's trying to split push bot side.
And it's another story of him trying to take that tower. But Final Bosses Ohio is really showing what you can do if you have blades for legs right now.
I know, and it looks great. We just need to see that Miami, the rest of the team, doesn't have blades for brains. Let's go. It looks like they are trying to get an angle to start this Otacon, but maybe, I mean, Final Boss is looking here onto Zero. HPTX in the area.
Zero getting caught out. The hookshot was going to stun him up. HPTX looking for that charm, is going to get it, but the chomp from Cho'Gath is going to chunk HPTX, gets the kill, going over to Final Boss of Ohio. Makinami caught out. Heroic entrance, point blank. Interesting little play there. Beans getting low. Miami forced on the back foot while Waffle Pig lays down some autos. Beans getting real low. Lord Bonk Bonk throwing those mystic shots, getting a little poke on the way out, but those members are getting real low. Huge true shot barrage from Lord Bonk Bonk is going to get the kill onto Waffle Pig. That was really good spacing.
Is that
from
Ruler?
Lord Bonk Bonk.
Is that Ruler?
He looks like him. HPTX is going to flash in there, going to get the kill onto Drywall Boxer in a huge play for Miami University.
The question is, I don't think they have the HP to turn that into Otacon, but Final Boss of Ohio going to be opened up a little bit on this bot side. Is totally chunked though by that Aurora. That's damage numbers.
To be expected.
Yeah, it's a new champion.
But it looks like Miami is looking to set up on this Otacon. Teleports coming through from 2 members, and they're going to start it up.
Yeah, I'm thinking both teams just really over chasing in a lot of these fights. I think giving Lord Bonk Bonk the agency to be able to just rain down these Mystic shots and that gorgeous True Shot Barrage, layering, just hitting all members of Eastern Michigan that were chasing, and then that's just Otacon given over. I mean, and it looked good. I mean, it was definitely a numbers advantage for Eastern Michigan. They're going to turn that, once again, looks familiar, into a Baron.
That's great timing from Miami University. Being able to pick up Otacon and then turning it to the Baron immediately. Now remember, Miami does have revives for the next 2 minutes, but it looks like all of them are trapped in the pit. Final boss of Ohio is going to chunk out Makinami. Huge smite side. HBTX is going to be able to secure that. Everybody's getting low. Lancerman's being taken down by Lord Bongpa. Drywall Boxer getting hit by another True Shot Barrage. And final boss of Ohio able to dice up that Varus. Huge fight for Miami University. That's going to be a clean ace.
Well, not entirely clean. Well, it is clean because it was a fake death on HBTX, but they said GAs, we don't even need them because not 4 members of Miami didn't fall regardless. And they have this Baron buff, the Parrot Empowered buff, using the tempo that they got to just push into the base, and that might just be it. I mean, I think they can. I mean, the respawn timers are all pretty short, but they can definitely get some work done on the base. No, I don't think they can end, but they will definitely get an inhibitor here. I don't think they can really look for more quite yet. They do have that GA. Lord Bonk Bonk's back is going to be interrupted.
Was going to get smited by Makinami. Is going to get in there, but still has the GA. Even if he dies, he's going to be taken out. But they're turning it onto Makinami. Beans getting in there and saving Lord Bonk Bonk and securing the kill.
A great bait onto the Wukong, trying to lure him out into the taunt of Quagert. And they will pick up that kill. Final boss putting in work here, doing his job as a miner on these towers.
Doing what he does best. Lance Romance getting another Hextech ultimatum onto the face, but the Polymorph is going to dissuade final boss of Ohio from doing any more damage onto Lance Romance and is going to back off.
Yeah, he's got his pickaxe and he just keeps going. Oh, no pickaxe.
You know, one of my favorite things that Miami just did was using life as a resource.
True. I mean, that's what you got to do. That you got to learn. It's almost like a different play style, a reckless play style. When you have this Otacon buff, you need to realize you need to cause as much damage as possible, forgetting the fact that you're going to die because you have no respawn timer, but also make it constructive. So if you do end up falling, you got to make sure that it's at a net positive for your team.
Right.
But it's also weird because you're used to playing by trying to prioritize your own life in this point in the game.
Hookshot onto Lance Romance again. We've seen this one before. Final boss of Ohio, a huge chunk of true damage, but Lance Romance trying to get out, isn't going to be able to escape. Makinami is going to get chunked out too, but final boss of Ohio turning that around. Heroic entrance a little too late. Varus is going to pick up the kill onto that Camille, and they are forced to back out from that. But 2 big pickups for Miami.
Yeah, and final boss of Ohio was putting up numbers. Meanwhile, Lord Bonk Bonk, again, just taking down this bot inhibitor. That's going to be 2 inhibs destroyed and a lot of pressure onto Eastern Michigan's base. It's not like they can do a ton right now. It seems like they're just going to try and fend off a lot of these waves. Zero, it's looking like a pretty tiny Cho'Gath. It's like a baby Cho'Gath.
Quagert and Beans are on the top side, sieging that tower with the Baron buff. They have it for 3 more minutes, but they're looking to try to close this game out as soon as possible, applying constant pressure into that base. Eastern Michigan is constricted to their walls that they have built up.
Yeah, I mean, like, these waves just keep pouring into the base. Not even Baron empowered, but still giving them a lot to work with. As we see, Miami taking full advantage, getting a lot of prio in the jungle. And if Eastern Michigan decides to step out without any kind of vision, they're liable to get just immediately caught. Bean's going to be spotted there. Good by the jungler of Eastern Michigan not to just face check immediately.
Yeah, Miami has vision all over this map. Eastern Michigan can't extend out of their base because they risk the chance of just getting blown up by this Camille, by this Ezreal, by this Evelynn.
And any pick by Miami means it's just that much easier for them to end this game out. And really, anyone giving Miami just an inch, just anything to be able to take some kind of advantage could be the difference between losing and winning. Or, well, and not even just staying alive.
Right.
Final boss of Ohio lurking in this really, really dark jungle.
Yeah, Miami University is on that soul point with the next Drake coming up in 2 minutes. We'll see if they want to prioritize trying to take that, but they have Baron. for the next couple of minutes, but we'll see if they want to take
The Baron is gone.
the Baron is gone. Sorry, that's 2 minutes until the Baron's up.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah.
But we'll see if they want to focus down that drink or just try to end the game immediately.
Oh, and that's a static shiv, a bit of an unconventional buy on the Camille. I was a bit curious, but it's just going to make that wave clear that much stronger, allowing him to push these waves in that much quicker. And I kind of respect it. At this point in the game, it's a little BM, but I think it's not like it isn't useless. Like
Right.
it definitely is going to help with a lot of this pushing, because really, a lot of what Camille builds is allowing her to clear minions as quick as possible.
A little action, a little chunk onto Zero, but you see HBTX just, if you guys don't know, she is invisible right now unless you get seen on a control ward. So nobody on Eastern can see HBTX right now.
Just lurking over
He's
there,
just
waiting.
stalking his
It's like
prey.
a Venus flytrap waiting for someone to go in the jaws. And look, we see Galio also in the top side attempting to push in that wave to get the triple inhibitor. HBTX a little optimistic there, getting some damage down.
Lance Romance is going to be saved by that Lulu ultimate, but we had a little bit of a 1-3-1 with Miami forcing minions and pressure on all 3 lanes. They are going to try to take down that top side inhibitor, getting those 2 super minions instead of 1 per wave.
Yeah, and 2 ults
going into
being
that
used. Well, 2 ults being used on the side. Vols Ohio's back is going to get canceled, but will it really amount to much? Flashes the Challenger emblem, kiting back.
And he's out of there, man.
No, he's gone.
There's nothing that Eastern Michigan can do to stop this continuous onslaught from Miami University.
And another wave of it is on its way. I mean, Final Boss of Ohio has that Unleashed TP to join anytime he needs to.
He's going on to Zero. Hook shot is going to chunk him out. He's autoing. He's autoing. He's autoing. Zero can't do anything. Can't get the knockup. Can't secure anything. But he's so tanky that he doesn't worry about dying right there.
Yeah, and Eastern Michigan doesn't know where to go. They're so split because they're like, oh, should we help the Cho'Gath? Should we clear these minions? They don't have any agency on the map. They're scrambling.
Miami University going to start up this Baron, going to try to melt that down to get that final push into that base to secure this second game.
Yeah, and it looks really hard. Like, if that wasn't apparent for everyone watching, Eastern Michigan is at such a difficult place where Miami would really need to make a huge overstep under like these Nexus towers, but they are going to try and contest this. So I mean, if it wasn't over before,
Hextech Ultimatum onto Drywall Boxer is going to be taken low. The heroic entrance going to be stacked on top of that, but you can't do anything if you're a squishy Lulu like that. They're going in. Miami's the Zenith Flare is going to miss onto Makinami, but Zero is getting really low. Final Boss of Ohio flashing and missing the smite to slow him down, flashing that Challenger emblem again, but Miami University is just going to whittle them down, is going to try to finish the game right here. Final Boss of Ohio getting really deep. Makinami going down, as will Final Boss of Ohio. Evelyn taking the kill onto Zero. It's 3 against 2.
Yeah, they do have these Baron-empowered minions pushing into the base, but they need to get this mid inhibitor to be able to have some more pressure onto the Dragons. HBTX trying to pick up the soul, and that soul is devastatingly strong.
Oh my
for
gosh,
the side of Miami. But it might not even matter. They're still on these Nexus turrets, and there's not much up preventing them from just demolishing it.
Lord Bonk Bonk putting a lot of pressure into these turrets, a lot of damage into them. The Drake is going to be secured. Miami University does have soul. Quaker is going to be chunked down, is going to try to escape. Lord Bonk Bonk laying down mystic shots from the backlines as they escape. They aren't going to end the game just yet.
And Miami feels like an inevitability at this point. They're just waiting, circling them like sharks, waiting for their opportunity to be able to just close out this game. And credit to Eastern Michigan, lasting a long time, good base defense on their end, but this is like as close to Exodia as you could get in terms of a Hextech Soul. You got the Static Shiv. You got, I mean, it really is so hard to play, and so much poke on the side. Just through Lord Bonk Bonk. He is the catalyst to be dishing out just huge amounts of damage. Proccing that Hextech Soul is going to be massive. So it's going to be just, let's see, another stand. Let's see if Eastern Michigan can weather the storm.
It's going to be hard for Eastern Michigan to stop this onslaught, especially with that Lulu being level 14, just getting annihilated by anything that touches her. Yeah. Lance Romance, level 17, is putting out a lot of work. But we have a little bit of action forming here in the mid lane.
And like I said, Quaker is just so hard to do any damage to. He's just such a reliable front line for Miami to be able to play front to back. And Beans, an engaged machine this game, really looking, and Final Boss of Ohio is diving in.
Drywall Boxer's going down. Miami is going to take down that third inhibitor. The Aurora Ultimate is going to deal a lot of damage to Miami University, but Final Boss of Ohio is going to be able to take down Makinami. Ferris is going to kill the Leona, and HBTX is in there, taking down 2 members of Eastern Michigan. It is one tower against the world. It is Miami against the Nexus, and they're going to close this game out.
Miami says we are starting this season off hot with 2 wins, looking amazing on their champions. Really just a great cohesive unit. I mean, we had some hiccups in parts of these games. You know, we had bits of overconfidence, but when it comes down to it, great objective control, great plays to get this game closed out.
Yeah, and Miami looked a lot more confident in that game than they did the last. I mean,
Yeah,
still another 30-minute banger, but you
yeah,
saw Final Boss of Ohio limit testing like crazy,
for
going in
sure.
there with just a bunch of ego, taking down Drywall Boxer.
Yeah, and I hope that you know, in certain games we got obviously we got to respect Eastern Michigan put a great performance on
Oh, for
here.
sure.
So I think you know, especially we've said it time and time again, but going off role into a really talented player in Final Boss of Ohio is something no mere mortal can achieve.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
a zero shout out, did really well in his lane, but really Miami was just they had what it takes to
Hmm.
win the day, and really kudos to them. Every member of Miami, like I said, that's something that we're really seeing is it isn't on 2 3 members, it isn't on one person carrying this team, it is every member having highlights. I mean, I'm thinking back to Lord Bong Bong in that fight, that extended fight, when they were being chased down and it looked like, oh, something bad might happen, just
Right.
landing skill shot after skill shot and really making it so it was, even when it looked negative, it turned out to be a positive trade for Miami.
Lord Bonk Bonk's Ezreal is unreal. I
Yeah.
mean, this man can get out of sticky situations in a snap of a finger and then turn it around onto the enemy team. That true shot barrage, the
Oh,
3-man pickup,
it was
oh, that was
gorgeous,
beautiful.
gorgeous.
And I really like Quagger on these supportive kind of mid lane picks too. The Karma, the Galio, I think it really meshes well with what the team is trying to do.
Yeah.
But good game to Eastern Michigan. That was really fun to watch, really fun to cast. And we have more League of Legends action coming to you Monday night at 8 p.m. against Northeastern for our rescheduled round 1.
Yeah, Miami Varsity now 2-0 in ESC action, and we're looking forward to more wins in the future. Stay tuned. This has been Miami University's esports team, our League of Legends team.
Yep.
More awesome games. So this has been Devin O'Connor,
This has been Isaac Rhythm Arredondo.
and you have a good night.